Alright guys, good morning. This is another FSD 13.2.8 video. I just have a little bit of running around to do. I'm meeting with a couple clients and grabbing something downtown. So I'm heading downtown right now to pick that thing up. It's a Tesla related thing, and I want to talk more about it when I actually get it. So first thing, slightly different camera angle. I've kind of tried this one in the past, and I think you guys said you don't like it as much. I'm just trying it again because, like I said, it's a slightly different setup. So we'll see. If it's terrible, I apologize, and it'll be back to normal after this. We are, downtown Vancouver in kind of like a quiet little community right now. So this is a good area to test FSD. That's different from where we usually are when I'm driving near home. We'll see how it does. Okay, so we should creep forward and then probably just go. Yeah, I would go. Perfect. Okay, and again, just creep forward. I would go. Yep, perfect. So at the time of recording this video, depending on when I get it out, should be soon hopefully, the spring update for Tesla is out to like 50 people in Europe, and then it looks like they pulled the update and it will now, it's being like tested again by employees. So hopefully it's coming out soon. For those of you that don't know, kind of annually, and sorry, this is a busy intersection, so let's see. I wouldn't go. I would definitely creep up. There's a bunch of vehicles on our left. Okay, this will be a tough one actually. This very likely may be a situation where I have to take over. I don't know. This is honestly one of those situations where I wish the car had never navigated us here. I'd rather turn right 4 times than try to make this left-hand turn. I would probably go right now. We should go. There's no reason we're not going. We should go. We should go. That sucks. Okay, well, we should go after this car. No. So there was a huge break in traffic there. Like there was traffic, but they were in the far lane and nobody here. So now we can go. Okay. Yeah, so that was a situation where we definitely could have gone left a little bit earlier, but we didn't because the car, I feel like, doesn't always take those turns. Like the lane we're in was empty. There was vehicles in that lane. Any human driver would have taken that left turn, but I didn't want to do it. That's fine. Also, I forgot my microphones this morning, so this is going to be off of GoPro audio. I apologize if it's terrible. It'll just be for this video, and then I'll be back to normal. Okay, since we're in traffic, I'll talk more about the spring update. Like I was saying there before we were turning, annually Tesla kind of does these like bigger updates. There's usually a big spring update, and then I think there's usually one around Christmas time. So I think there's throughout the year there's tons of updates, but those two are marked as being kind of the ones that come with bigger feature sets. I know a lot of people were hoping and expecting that this was going to include Grok in the car. That was like what people thought was going to be like the one big thing for this update. That unfortunately wasn't the case, and because that's the case, I feel like it probably won't be until Christmas that we see Grok integrated, but I could be wrong. I'd love to be wrong, but that's, in my opinion, what will probably happen is the holiday update at the earliest is when we see that. Okay, and so as what's actually in the update, I'm going to overlay graphics and text as much as I can as I'm talking about it here. The first one is an update to the trip planner. So now when you're doing a trip, you can choose between the fastest, the best, and the fastest route, which is, again, it'll show it up on the screen right now, offers the quickest route. Best is going to prioritize stops near chargers and like good amenities, and then fewest stops means minimal charging stops. And I think, I mean, two of those sound very similar to one another, I'm going to be honest, but we'll see. I mean, it's always nice that currently if you put in a destination, you have the one route. You don't really get multiple options. So it's nice that Tesla is adding abilities to see different routes along the way. Another thing that's coming is you're now able to route and then choose avoid highways. Maybe it's more of a states thing. Like here in Canada, I don't think I would ever use that, because as much as I fault FSD on the highway, if the highway is the fastest drive, I'm always going to take the highway. So I don't know. For those of you from the States who watch this channel, maybe chime in and let me know. Like, I don't think I would ever use that option, but I know people have been asking for it, so I'm genuinely confused why it's such a wanted feature. Like, I don't understand the scenario where I'd want to avoid highway. Like, again, assuming with traffic, highway is the fastest route, I'd probably just want to take the highway. Okay, and so another thing that they added, and this was definitely like requested by the community, is now with the Sentry mode, and this is only on specific cars. I'll put it up right here. It looks like it's the hardware 4 cars, like any of the newer vehicles, but you're now able to access the B-pillar view for the Sentry mode, for dash cam and Sentry mode recording. So it went from being 4 cameras to what I believe is now 6, and that's great. It adds another view. You have more opportunity if somebody has vandalized your car, or if you've been in an accident. More camera views is always welcome, so this is great. It's really cool that they added it. So it's unfortunate that the Hardware 3 vehicles don't get it. I'd have to assume it's some sort of like a processing constraint. Just synchronizing and capturing all those streams of video probably does take processing power. And yeah, because I know I've seen people complain about it online, like Hardware 3 is being left behind, but at some point Hardware 3 vehicles absolutely will not always have feature parity. Like, you have an older vehicle, I'm sorry. And for those of you that bought Hardware 3, we're going through a very stale. For those of you that bought Hardware 3 just before Hardware 4 comes out, the timing does seem really brutal, but I mean, that would be like buying an iPhone 15 a month before the iPhone 16 came out and then being upset you don't have Apple Intelligence. Like, there are product cycles, and that's just kind of how it goes. Another really big one, something that doesn't impact me, but for those of you who park your vehicles in the garage or things like that, they now have save trunk height based on location. So it's really nice. Like, today, without the update, as you're opening the trunk, you can do it, I think you can do it in the 3. I've never tested, but I know you can do it in the Y. But you can like save a predetermined height. So rather than your trunk opening 100%, we should go over. Nice. Yeah, so if you're opening your trunk and you are in a garage, and if your trunk opening all the way hits the roof, you could open it 3/4 of the way, press and hold the pause button, I think, and then it sets that as like the height that the trunk will open to, which is amazing. It's a really nice feature. But the issue is, for people in that scenario, at home they want their trunk to open only 3/4 of the way, but then when they go to Costco, for example, they would want it to open all the way. And presently, that's not how it works, because it would just always open to that predetermined height. Now it does it based off location. So if you're at home, it'll open to 3/4. If you're at Costco, it'll open all the way. And if you're somewhere else and you wanted to save it to a different height, it would do so. Really cool feature. Amazing for those of you who use trunk height. And then another really small one is just you're able to change your keyboard language. To be honest, I thought this would have already been a thing, but I guess not. So for those who type using different keyboard languages, that's awesome. Great change, I'm sure. Okay, we're signaling, and I don't know why. This is what I talk about, where we're signaling for the next road. And see, we're passing this intersection, we stopped signaling, but we were signaling, and now the signal's back on. So this is the early signaling behavior that I don't love from FSD. I also know, what is this? Can we not go straight here? I'm gonna let it happen, but this is some of the worst routing from Tesla. Look at what it's doing. So I'm gonna mark this. I'm not in a rush or whatever, but like, I have no idea why the car would do what it's doing right now. And we got people on the street here. Okay, nice job, nice job. I mean, really good job doing what it's, oh, wants to go down the alley? There's guys in the way. Let's see what happens here. Okay, there's a huge pothole. Okay, I gotta take over. So, that's unfortunate for multiple reasons. I'm gonna snapshot that. One, we shouldn't be here in the first place. This is insane that we're making this route. Two, that pothole was like the size of this car, and had I let it go in there, we almost certainly would have damaged the wheel. So that really does just highlight FSD's inability to see potholes as being a major issue. Because yeah, we're back now out on the road that we just turned off of. So we should go right, we should go. That's unfortunate. Okay, another feature from the software update is you're able to keep power on. And this is kind of like an annoying one for some people because this is a problem that Tesla created. The Model Y specifically, because it has the power in the back that people use all the time for fridges and things like that, they, a couple updates ago, disabled that always on power for that plug in the back, citing, I think it was like safety concerns or battery drain, I don't know what, but it made accessories useless for people that had fridges and things like that. They would just no longer work. So Tesla's kind of like, they've tweaked the settings a little, but they've effectively turned back on what they turned off. So it's good that it's back, and it just, in my opinion, should never have gone away, but good to see it brought back at least. And then another one that I don't think I have seen any photos of, but when you're navigating to a supercharger now, it does a lot more to show you amenities and whatnot that are around. So you'll see shops and restaurants. I know already it kind of does do that, but I'm assuming it's just kind of a better version of that. When you're searching for music or an artist, currently when you do it, it's messy. Like, I'll show you. So if I was to search for Kygo, which I just did, okay, I searched for Kygo. It's kind of just like all over the place. Like, the first stuff is Spotify, there's some YouTube, and you just kind of have to scroll to like get through it. Now it breaks it where like you would click and you'd see all of Spotify stuff, and you'd click and you'd see all of YouTube stuff. It's just a lot cleaner. So really nice change there for sure. For Apple Music people that had playlists longer than 100 songs, I guess those didn't work. And part of this update is that they do work. And I actually think that that's why the update is paused, because there was somebody saying they had a playlist with like 1,100 songs on Apple Music, and whenever they tried to play it, the whole like system would crash. So like one of the few people that got the update, they said that their like infotainment would crash. So I'm guessing that's part of the reason why the update's paused. But yeah, I don't use Apple Music, so it doesn't really affect me, but for those that do, I'm sure it's nice. And then a big one, and I want to try and capture it before and after to really show the difference, but the rear camera, it's very cropped. Like, the camera and what you can actually see probably honestly extends to like here, here, and up here, but because it's so fish-eyed, Tesla's kind of like crunched it in to make it look cleaner, but as a result you lose a lot of like side view. They're changing that, so now they've also flipped, like, these repeater cameras are going to be up top, this one will be down here, and it'll be much wider to view. So I'm going to try and do like a before and after somewhere where I can park in the exact same spot, look at it, and then park in the same spot after. But yeah, that is part of the update. We should, yeah, this is perfect. Okay, sorry that was kind of a messy explanation. I think there is more, but we're here now. I have to figure out parking. So let me do that, and I'll get back to you guys in a second here. All right, guys, so what I just did is I stopped and I picked up what's called the Matter key. these guys reached out to me on X after I made a post talking about the quality difference between the footage that you get from the Tesla app and the footage you get when you actually like pull the dash cam and plug it into a computer. It's notable and insane how much better quality the direct actual files from the drive are versus what you get from the dash cam. And with this thing, which has now replaced my dash cam USB, I'll flip it around and show it to you after, but I'm now able to pull full quality clips while I'm at home, while I'm on Wi-Fi, whatever, and it'll directly save to Dropbox. It'll do a bunch of really cool things, which that on its own is great. I think that's a really cool product. The thing that like spiked my interest and made this kind of like a must get for me is it tracks your FSD drives. So it'll track your drive, it'll tell you how long you've had FSD enabled and whatever disengagements you have. And then when you have a disengagement, it will mark that and highlight that footage for you to download. Nothing really like this exists right now, and it's something that I think is really cool, especially for someone like me that loves to like track my drives and be as transparent as possible with any issues. So this I also think will help my videos, because now I'll have all of the footage from my 2 cameras, but anytime there's a disengagement, it'll be really easy for me to overlay high quality dash cam footage as well, which is going to include 4, even possibly 6 in the future, different camera angles. So just want to say thank you very much to the guys at Matter. They helped me set it up. They came and sat in the car with me. Super straightforward, really easy. Yeah, and I will let you guys know what I think of it. I'll at the end of this drive, I'll show how it looks on the app, and it'll track the whole drive. And yeah. And so for the actual device, here's the box that it comes in, and then in there you can see, so that's it now. It's like, that's the USB that it replaces. It just sits in there, replaces your existing Tesla USB. And yeah, the way it works actually is really fascinating. They were explaining to me, because I didn't think that the USB drive pulled any data from the car. So it's like, how do you know that it's tracking when FSD starts, when there's disengagements? And it does it all based on audio. So when you start an FSD drive, there's a ding. When you disengage, there's a different noise. If you honk, it's just listening to all that, and then it marks it. So yeah, we'll see how it does. All right, so I am done there. Let's head to another client's place. I think we gotta go that way to get out of here. So we'll see. The car is going the wrong way. Curious what it's gonna do. It says do not enter. Do I have to intervene? So I can see that it says don't enter. The car, I think, has no idea. Yeah, so I'm gonna disengage. I'll mark that. And I'll spin us around. So that is one of those situations where if FSD could read signs, it would be huge. It'd be very helpful, because it would see do not enter and then turn itself around. We're stopping for no reason. Slowing. It also here says right turn only, and the car is trying to go left. So this is going to be another disengagement, leaving the parking lot here. So I'll go right. Like, a lot of people would probably turn left there. I get it, but ultimately the car needs to do the holy. Okay, I engaged FSD just out of curiosity. What is that was bad. Let's see how it gets itself out of here. Okay, we're getting waved by. so I'm gonna enable it here. The car has got us into the underground. How is it gonna get out? Okay, so we need to turn around. Okay, I'm disengaging and getting us out manually. That was a lot of failing in a short period of time. We tried to go out the exit only way at the parking garage, which was initially very wrong. And then the car tried to go left out of a right turn only, so I disengaged there. And then I re-enabled it, trying to be like, hey, figure it out. And then it immediately turned left into this underground parking lot, which I have no idea why it did that. And then failed to do anything to get itself out of here. So pretty horrible start to the drive, if I'm completely honest with you. Okay, so coming up to traffic. Nice job by the car. It's definitely getting over for that. Well ahead of time. Really good job. Yeah, I don't know. I experienced what we just experienced, and it's one of those moments where I'm like, how could FSD, robo-taxi, even unsupervised, exist with the hardware software the way it currently is? If FSD can't read and doesn't understand signs like that, there's just no way it's gonna work. And maybe it'll work in small rural town, like where I live. There's almost everything that we just experienced doesn't exist in Langley, so I never run into those issues, and I never see FSD like failing to read and understand signs. But in Vancouver, in a big city, there's so many more situations where there's one-ways, there's road closed, there's this, there's that. And in some scenarios, like right here, great job by the car. But in other ways, when it fails so spectacularly, I don't know. While we're driving here, I'm realizing I'll put up the last little bits of the spring update for what I didn't talk about. There'll be a few things that minor that I didn't talk about, but one of the big things is they're adding to the 3 and maybe the Y. They're finally adding matrix or adaptive headlights, whatever you want to call it. It's very cool because it's something that this car has had since I bought it. But because of regulations in North America, they haven't been able to enable it. And it's really interesting. Like the way it works is you basically have your high beams on at all times. But then if it sees a vehicle's headlights, it'll like turn off the part of the high beam that faces at that car. So like all of this area, you still have your high beams, but like where the car is, your headlights turn off. It's really cool. I think Rivian and the new Model Y are the only vehicles right now in North America that have it. So this will be a very impressive to get it here because we don't have it. Like for the most part, no vehicles in Canada, from what I know, correct me if I'm wrong, have it. Okay, coming up to a full stop here. I think we should just go. Yeah, I don't see any traffic. See, there's like, I mean, we didn't hit it, but that hubcap in the road, we could just as easily have hit it as we didn't just there. That's something I don't think the car would have avoided. And it's one of those things where I think you really need to, even if, like, that's why full self-driving unsupervised won't work, in my opinion, because yeah, the car's doing everything great, but if I was on my phone right there and that hubcap was in the middle, like in the road, and I drove over it and ruined my tire, like, that would suck, and that would be on me. I don't think Tesla would take responsibility for that. Okay, and I just wanted to give an update while we're driving here. I talked about it probably a month or so ago. Tom, one of my subscribers, also a very generous human, offered to purchase the new screen for me that he was then going to modify to have HDMI out so that I was able to get this view in high quality and that I could use it in videos. He gave me an update the other day and he has the screen. We're gonna go through a very stale yellow, I bet. Never mind. He has the screen. The work's been done. It looks like it's all good. He doesn't have a Tesla like this car to test it in, so unfortunately he's like, you know, he's pretty confident it's gonna work, but we don't know until I actually plug it into my car. Sounds like he's gonna ship it on like Monday or Tuesday next week, like sometime next week possibly. So within maybe a week or two I'll have that, and I'll make a video on installing it and everything as well, because I think that's kind of interesting. But fingers crossed, that'll be really cool. And again, what an incredibly kind person Tom is to have taken so much of his own time and money to do that for me. So thank you very much, Tom. Even if it doesn't work, the gesture alone it means a lot to me, but if it does work, it should be really cool. I'm excited. Speaking of that, I just want to thank, on my last video, Jesper, and then Bob Van, I forget your last name, but it's Bob, and Tom as well, for donations. I'll put your names on the screen here. You know, these videos take time. They do technically cost me money, but I don't expect anything. But for those of you that do take the decision to donate to the channel, it means a lot to me. Thank you very much. Yeah. And with that said, even if you don't want to donate, which you have no obligation to, if you enjoy these videos, if you could like, comment, or subscribe, that helps me out a ton. Just helps me get my stuff in front of more people, and ultimately I think that's a good thing. I try to make these entertaining and informative and whatever as possible, and I think it's good for people to see FSD. Despite it making mistakes, it does incredible things all the time, and I think people need to see that. Speaking of, there was a gap. We should have taken it, but we were slow, so all these other vehicles went in front of us. And now this guy went. We shouldn't go. Okay, perfect. That was good. It's exactly what I hoped it would do, would be turned off the signal after realizing that car went. We're not going to get away, and we can just go straight. Yeah, I can see that we should get out of this lane, so I'd hope that the car is going to do that here. Nice. Perfect. Really good job there. And then straight back over into the fast lane. We're in hurry mode, so that's definitely like why the car is choosing, I think, this left lane and the more like aggressive moves, but I'm okay with that. Okay, we're on somewhat of a highway. I'm just gonna signal to get us out of here. Okay, nice job. We're holding up traffic behind us, so I understand we're in a hurry. I still don't think hurry should camp the left lane, but I'm gonna put it in standard to help keep us out of that lane. Okay, so I'm curious what it's gonna do here. I feel like this guy's gonna go around. Maybe not. Yeah, and I wonder if we'll follow. Perfect. That's what we should do. And then it's hard because this guy's moving, so it doesn't make sense to kind of wait, but we should now go. Perfect. I would have left the signal on and I would have given more space. The car cut it very close, unnecessarily so. I mean, good job, but just if I was to critique what it was doing there. Okay, and it looks like we have some traffic up here. I wish we were the lead vehicle for this, but that's okay. I mean, we kind of seem like we're far enough ahead that we're doing this on our own, I would say. So nice job through here, good speed. The speed limit's 50, we're going 38. I feel like that's a reduced speed. That feels safe. And then we'll see if we pick back up now that we're through 42, 43. Yeah, so we definitely were reducing our speed through that construction zone, despite there being no signs saying that we needed to. So nice job. And it's funny, we're going 52 and we're not in a speed profile. And I'm not sure why that's the case. I thought anytime over 40 you have a speed profile, but there's definitely nothing on the screen right now. Cool, I'd say we're here. I will let the car maybe try and go in on its own. Oh, it's right here. Okay, I'm just taking over to park, but really good job. I will see you guys in 2 seconds. All right guys, so I'm actually just finishing editing this video and I was gonna keep going, but we are leaving to Calgary right now. Like Jay is packing, I need to stop, but I wanna release the video. So the video is just abruptly ending here. I just want to give my thoughts quickly on the Matter key since I didn't get a chance to do that because I was going to do it later in the video. Basically, I have a screenshot here and I'll put it maybe up on the screen too, but I think it's cool. Like, I mean, it tracks the drives. You can see here, like it tells me 99% of the drive was on autopilot. It shows where any disengagements are. I'm still not 100% sure what I think about it, so I'll give like a better opinion later on. But for right now, it seems really cool. I'll be very transparent of any issues I have with it. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much.